thank you for staying with us on Nigeria Decides. Well, the collection of permanent voter cards across the country has experienced several challenges. And today, the independent electoral body, INEC, decided to extend collection till Monday, the 11th of February. And definitely we will be discussing this on the segment of Nigeria Decides. We're joined by Olawale Amoussa. He is YPP Lagos State House of Assembly, Kosofe 1 constituency candidate. Thank you so much for joining us. We also have Babasola Adegbuyi, YPP gubernatorial candidate, Ogun State. Thank you as well.
Thank you very much for being here today.
Now, gentlemen, we have this extension, a little bit of grace period, despite the bottlenecks that comes with collecting PVCs. But do you think this is an appropriate measure by INEC to extend and say, well, since we have thousands and thousands yet to be collected, well, let's give this chance?
Okay, I would like to say it's a welcome development, in as much as we know that even if they extend this to a day to the presidential election, some people will still be collecting their PVCs. So I think any opportunity to allow people to be properly enfranchised should be supported. However, there's a lot of, from the field, we know that there are a lot of bottlenecks, you know, in the collection of most of these things. And that is a challenge for a lot of people that would normally not like to go through that kind of stress. So I think INEC should find a way to make it a bit more. Yes, the extension is good, but they should make it a bit easier for people.
Can you give us an indication of some of these challenges since you're from the field?
Yes, for instance, I learned, well, I wouldn't say I was there, but I received a report that, for instance, in a local government in Ikorodu, we were told that people were told to go and come back after the elections, you understand? And these people, there was a crowd, they went there to get their PVCs, and asking them to go and come back after the elections, that for me was a bit of a turn-off, you understand? The reason why a lot of people went through that stress of getting registered is so that they can exercise their right to vote, you understand? And telling them to do so after, you know, it defeats the purpose as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, now let's talk about what's on ground now, because I know two persons who received text messages from INEC today telling them to come and collect their PVCs. Now, I didn't know all the while that INEC had everyone's phone numbers, you know, so coming this late in the day when it's just, actually the collection was supposed to end today. So what can we say about INEC's commitment to this distribution of PVCs? Let me come to you.
Actually, I do think the INEC actually make use of the numbers with them. The reason why I say that is that I got my son a phone and SIM card. Immediately I inserted the SIM card this afternoon, maybe after 1 month or 2 months. And it's only made for him. The INEC message came in, go and collect you. So I was wondering, this boy is just 10 years. He has not registered. So it's not actually for INEC registered. That's my own. So number two, the message I got is that go and collect your PVC if you have not done so as disclosing today. They have not amended that message to February 10. Is it February 10 or 11? February 11. At least, I believe by now, that should have been edicted. Send the message out and let people. To me, it's a good development, because before now there was nothing like that from INEC telling people to go and collect their.
Isn't it coming too late in the day? Because we're just, if not for the extension, this would have been the last day of collection.
Sure.
And now people are receiving messages. They've also said that the distribution will continue on Saturday and on Sunday. So why do we keep leaving it to the last minute?
Yes, yes.
You know, we have this disease in Nigeria, last minute rush. It's a disease. So people have to have a change of mind towards a lot of things.
Okay. Let me hear your thoughts as well on that.
Yeah, I would like to say that this move by INEC is a bit cosmetic. Why would I say that? Because would expect an arbiter who has a plan, there's a plan for an election, 4 years time, you know there's a process, yes, a register is open and blah, blah, blah. You know at what point, you know, these people have to get their PVCs, the latest possible time. You understand? And you plan towards that. So you say, okay, fine, before, say 1 month to the deadline, they start getting messages. 3 weeks to the deadline, they start getting messages. And 7 days to the deadline, they start getting messages. So for me, getting that message today, for me, is cosmetic.
So now then, where lies the fate of those who, despite this extension, will be told that, well, your PVC is not ready and you have to wait till the next election?
Oh, well, for those kind of people, it's unfortunate. There's really no redress. There's no recourse.
Interested. Now, when we look at some statistics, we see the Northwest having the highest number of registered voters, which is standing at over 20 million. We have the Southwest as well, about 16,292,000, comprising about 19.39%. The North Central having about 13 million, South 12 million, 841,000, Northeast 11,289,000, as well as the Southeast having about 10,057,000. Now, if we're looking at all of these figures as at this point in time, don't you think that INEC should have already brought us abreast with the total number of cards that have been gotten per region, and then we say this is the exact number so that we can follow through and say by Monday, XYZ additional numbers collected their cards. But we've not had this information breakdown from INEC. All we just have is just shabby information, in my own opinion. What do you think about that, the whole communication process? Because at the end of the day, we've heard of PVCs getting burnt, we've heard of PVCs getting missing, and a whole lot more. And people fear that some uncollected PVCs would be used to manipulate the election results. Not forgetting that they say the CBN is going to be responsible for safekeeping of the uncollected PVCs. But that notwithstanding, aren't we supposed to have feedback from INEC back to back, almost on a weekly basis, as to how much of collection we've done so far?
Yes, I like to believe, like we always say, the problem that we have in Nigeria, chief problem, is our lack of data. You understand? I believe if we properly harness data, we can pinpoint exactly what number, level of achievement, what needs to be addressed, the gap that needs to be bridged. You understand? But since there's no data, we have to rely. I cannot categorically say that INEC's figures may be correct. A lot of them may be estimations. You understand? Because where do you want to go and start counting 84 million or how many?
But it is possible. That is why we have state electoral commissions. We have local government offices. They can actually tell these are the number of cards that went out today. And it boils down to daily collection and then collation to tell us, at least INEC can do that every month. Don't you think?
In an ideal society.
In an ideal society.
Not even every month. Every
week at least, not being too ambitious. That's why I stressed
we also don't have a system of following up and checking up. You understand? It's very possible that somebody somewhere's job is to be collating or imputing the number of cards collected. You understand? But who checks whether or not he puts in an accurate figure, or he just conjures figures and throws them out?
Who should be asking questions now? Because now that we know that it is important for us to, you're a political candidate, you're supposed to be asking people to vote for you. And now I'm sure that you've asked some people and they told you things like, we don't even have our PVCs. I know that it is not a good place to be, especially if most of your supporters don't have PVCs. So who is supposed to ask questions? Is it supposed, everybody? Definitely everybody can ask questions. Is it those who are running for office who can actually ask questions and get INEC to do the right thing?
Well, I'd like to, okay, sorry.
Actually, the political parties should be asking questions in respect of the number of collection on the PVC collected and those yet to be collected. Well, you know, most of the time, one thing I believe is that most of us, it's not that we don't know what to do, but sometimes if there is no need for it, we not want to do it. You get it. Just like what we are talking about in respect of who should be in charge of collation. Go to some of the INEC offices. Maybe you see about 2 or 3 people working there, and they are attending to people collecting their PVCs, where you have crowd. And since there is no boss in the office who has gone out to do his own personal things or official things, not assign who the collation of the, what's it called, the PVC collected, he will not assign it to anybody. At the end of the day, it is only when political parties now mount pressure on INEC that come. You have told us that the 4 people actually collected, registered for the PVC. Now tell us the number of people that have collected and those that are yet to collect. If the political parties are not doing that, INEC too will just be sitting down.